Hello guys and welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial I'll be talking about controllers. So you may ask, what the hell is a controller? Does it controls anything? And I might answer you, yes. It controls like the routes that the HTTP requests that you receive, where those requests should go and what they should do. They filter by HTTP request type, by parameters, by path, and depending on these 3 or 4 variables that I said, you may want to do different things. So this is like what the controller does in a simplistic way. So I just started I created these package controllers. I created this class poll controller, and so the way that you can tell the Spring Boot that you are doing a controller and that this will be the entry point of your application, you just go with annotation at REST controller, because you are using a REST controller. If you are not using REST, you can just do this controller and it will work fine. You can import it. REST controller. Okay, now to the real stuff. Let's build a function that will be called when you want to get a poll by a given ID. So this should be really simple. Okay, so you have the annotation called request mapping, which will map this request to this function that I will declare below the request. So there are several different parameters that you can pass in this request mapping. You can search it on the web. But now I'll just use the value and the method. The value is like the path that you want. So in this case, you want to access the resource. A resource, this is REST, so you have a resource called polls. So you want to access resource and you want to access a poll with a given poll ID. So this represents a variable. This is called a path variable. You may know why it is a path variable, because this is on the path. Rocket science. So you have the method, which it represents the HTTP method that you are using. It's like the HTTP verb: HTTP get, HTTP post, delete, options, put. So far, so good. And we can just request method dot get. We may want to import stuff. Maybe not. So now we have to declare the function where, when this request arrives, it will map to this function. So public void for now. It won't be void, but we have void now. Get. In this case, we have a get poll by ID. Okay, and we maybe want to say that we expect to receive a path variable, which is a string, and it's called poll ID. So far, so good. So we might want to import stuff. Import stuff and import stuff. So as you see, this is a normal function: public void get poll by ID, path variable, and you have your variable. Okay, this won't be void. Of course, we want to return something, but you'll know, and I will tell you later, that we don't have the proper output class that we want to return. And I will tell you why now. Because this poll is not suitable for returning, because we have a list of IDs and we don't want to return a list of IDs. And this poll option is not like we want to return a poll. So guys, maybe we want to create another entity called poll output. And you might ask, okay, you have a poll option, and you have a poll output. Yes, I have, and I'll tell you why. This poll output won't be used to insert stuff on database. So we don't need this ID, but we need this, okay? We need this properties but we don't want this option. We want a list of poll option, which will be the options. So now we can generate a constructor, source generate constructor using fields. I want to use all the fields that okay. I don't like in this way, so we don't want to call the super, because we just want to construct our object. We don't want to reference the object class. So now we have what we want to return, poll output, and we have to import it again. Okay, so we want to find the poll by ID, but wait, we don't have the repositories. So we can just go to our voting, our main, this will be disappearing, and we just need these two repositories to search in the database. Okay, we have the repositories that we need, so we can have a poll, which will be equal to poll repository dot find one. Okay, we have the find one method, and this find one will receive the poll ID that you want. So okay, so if this poll, import this poll, if the poll it's not null, it means you have something. You can search now by the options that you need to retrieve. So you might want to create a list. So you can create inside, because if you don't have a poll, you don't need lists. A list of poll option, which will be the options, which will be equal to new array list. That's it. More import, create class array list. Of course, I don't want to create a class array list. Lists. We have to import everything so that this works. Okay, we have everything imported. You don't have a return statement, but we will have a return statement. And now what we want to do? We want to do poll, a for loop, which will iterate for over these poll options, which is the string, the IDs of the options that it refers to. So it's a string, it's an option, or better, poll option ID, which is located in the poll dot options dot okay, poll dot, what's his name, options. Okay, this needs to be public. All right. Okay, this tutorial will be a little bit longer, but I hope you guys know what I'm doing and understand, because this is really important. And now what can we do? We have this list of poll options. So option dot add, sorry, options. So it's better like poll options, so we have proper names. So poll options dot add, and we now have to create the poll option. Which will be, first we need to get it. So poll option repository dot find one again, because this is unique, poll option ID, and here we'll have the poll option. All right, we don't need to create this, and we can put the poll option in here inside. When we finish this cycle, we need to construct our poll output. This is really easy. New. So we can return new poll output, which receives the ID. Okay, what is the ID? It's poll.id. The poll question, poll.poll question. The poll name, poll.poll name. We have this on the object poll. Now the options is a different story. The options is those poll options, and the hash is on the poll object. Okay, and if we don't have any poll, we just say, oh man, we don't have any poll. Wait. This if statement, so we just return null. Sounds good for me. Now, in here, we don't want to implement this anymore. And we don't want to override this anymore. Okay? So, almost complete here. Let's just erase those stuff that I don't need, because I don't know the shortcut to erase this. If you know it, just comment down below and tell me. That will prove that you watched that video. Okay, and now we can go to the database. We can show our poll that we insert in previous tutorial and our poll options. Imagine that I want to search this poll. So we'll open Postman. Opening control valves to antimalarial nacelles. Okay. We are almost done. I should have opened this earlier. So now we just go in get poll, and I can paste the ID. But first I need to start the application. And since this is a get, this is not nothing like this, this is a get, this is poll slash something that is interpreted like the poll ID, this will be mapped to this method. And this will return a poll output if something is found, which will be automatically converted to a JSON object. If nothing is found, it doesn't return anything. Let's test it. Okay. So this needs to be public. If this isn't, this is a lesson that you learn. If the fields aren't public, it doesn't convert to the JSON. So you learn the lesson right here. It's not a waste of time. I won't cut this because you are learning something. And when we learn something, it's really great. So let's make a request again. And we have this complete. So we have the ID restaurant, bar, pool, 0 votes, 0 votes, 0 votes, the view hash, the vote hash. What can we ask more? We can even rearrange this because these hashes go really prettier first. And that's it, guys. So we just made like a sort of API to get the poll and the options that are referenced by that poll. So I won't just extend more this tutorial. This was the first route that we created. I need to explain every step. So the next mappings will be really faster, and it will be really awesome to delete polls, to insert polls, to make the request and the mapping to upvote one option or downvote another option. So I think we are doing great. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you don't mind that this was too long, and I'll see you next tutorial, guys. Goodbye.